ever met a blind person before?
Okay, so living with a blind person.
Like, I can't do those things without being stared at, which means that the person I'm with is also stared at. For a sighted guy, what is the hardest part about dating or living with a blind partner?
Don't be a punk.
Hello, people. Welcome back to Smile for a Second. My name is Kirsten, and I'm blind. And this is my fiance, Joe.
I am not blind.
So, if you haven't seen our last video about my turning 30 blog plus getting engaged, you should go watch that. Since we did just get engaged and decided that we wanted to, take things to the next level, I thought that this would be a really good time to have a chat about dating someone with a disability, specifically blindness, because that's what both of us can relate to. Joe and I met through mutual friends in Utah, and it was clear to both of us that they were trying to set us up. Have you ever met a blind person before?
No.
Okay, so like totally new territory for him, complete blank slate. So how'd you feel?
I felt fine. As far as being set up, you're always a little on edge, right? But it had nothing to do with you being blind or anything like that. It was just, okay, gotta put my A game out there. And then as far as, meeting you for the first time and all that, I guess blind etiquette would be the right terminology there. I didn't know it, right? So you communicate with people when you look at them, or like you direct your body language towards them, that signifies you're talking to them. So I didn't necessarily know how to do that with you because you can't see it.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know if I should just say, "Hey, Kirsten, I'm talking to you," right? Or if I should say, if and so for the most part, I don't know if you remember this, but I was pretty quiet when it came to speaking to you because I just didn't know how to do it.
And I see, but like, and I thought he just completely wasn't interested or like was weirded out by me. My view on Joe was like, okay, he's this nice guy, but it's never going to be a thing because I work for the federal government. I'm an attorney in D.C., in Washington, D.C., so I was coming home. I have a life and a job here and stuff, and I was like, I'm not starting a relationship with some Utah boy. And then we started talking on the phone, and things went really well. And like 6 months later, I went back to Utah to see our mutual friends, but also to see Joe. And he decided that because I had been really clear to him about the fact that past relationships had made me sort of really insecure about my blindness. I dated someone who told me that the reason we didn't go to many places in public was because he felt like he had to watch me, or that being blind was like a burden for him to deal with. And so like I was just trapped in a house all the time, and it was a really bad time in my life. And so Joe was like, okay, look, when you come out to Utah, we're gonna go on a night hike, and I want you to leave your guide dog at our friend's house.
Go on dates, first, second, third, in public places. Whoever you were dating doesn't know you and probably doesn't want to be alone with you.
Yeah, so the only reason I went is because our mutual friends were like, we've known him for like 10 years, you can trust him, I promise, he's a really good guy. And so I was like, okay, but Joe's like an all or nothing person in certain instances. And he was like, I'm gonna prove to you that you holding on to my arm doesn't bother me, and that I think I can help you. And so he moved up to Virginia, which was a huge change for you coming from Utah, yeah?
Very much so.
The culture is way different here, and there's so many different types of people. What did you have to adapt to really quickly?
Okay, so living with a blind person, just make sure you pick up your things and close doors all the way, or open them all the way. And then, close cupboards and things like that. And
I hit my head on so many open cupboards.
Yeah, other than that, it's the exact same. It's like...
Wait, and reading the mail.
Oh, yeah, and you have to read the mail.
Joe has to read all the mail because I can't obviously do that. And so, yeah, he reads all the mail. But, like, everything else, I mean, I do most of the cooking. Although now we recently did a video on meal prep kits, and so we use those, and they have instructions that Joe can follow, which is good. I don't think he quite enjoys it, but he can do it.
I do not enjoy it.
He can
I
do
do
it.
not like cooking.
So, so living with me then.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I mean, I think it's harder to mesh personalities than it is, which is what you do in normal relationships, right?
Yep.
And I
Figure
say
each other
normal,
out.
normal with quotation marks, but that's what you do with people in relationships with, people without a disability.
Yeah.
Again, quotations there. That's probably what we found the hardest about living with one another.
So then my next question is, once we started living together, but even before then, you got some concerned comments from friends about like, oh, I could never date a blind girl. But then being around me, you also saw how, from my perspective, people would treat me in public. So like they would really stare at my guide dog just when I'm trying to walk around and be a normal person, like going to CVS or a restaurant. Like I can't do those things without being stared at, which means that the person I'm with is also stared at, right? So how did you sort of cope with that social stigma and the comments from even people that you know, and how did it really matter to you? Or
Okay, so I am a weird person in the fact that I generally do not care what random strangers and a lot of times even friends have to think. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. But anyway, so as far as people looking at me, the first time we were in a very, very crowded restaurant, people were like, our dog, as you know from past videos, just kind of, she likes to have her space and flop down, and like people were walking around her, and so it was just a little confusing. Past that, I really didn't care. I was like, we have a dog, get over it. As far as friends who told me that they couldn't date a blind girl, that's because you are a punk. If you don't date somebody based on an external factor, such as blindness or, name it.
oh, we have the puppy here.
Yeah, the puppy.
Do you think the camera will get her?
No.
No. Oh,
Maybe it will.
crap. Well, hopefully.
So,
Hi, baby.
So anyway, squirrel, right?
Yeah, sorry.
I
I have a bad habit of this, you guys. Whatever. You want to wear basketball shorts to our
Yeah.
wedding, so I don't even want to hear it.
Well, we should, because suits are expensive, and so are Texas are. Anyway, oh, what was I saying? I got a squirrel moment here. Oh yeah, so yeah, I think you're punk. Like, enjoy the person you're dating. Have a, whatever. You have criteria for what you want in a partner. Match that. But I don't think, if those things can match and you guys are compatible, I don't think that external factors such as blindness or you name it should affect you dating that person.
And I think what's really important to emphasize too is that every person is unique. So not every blind person is the same, just like not every sighted person is the same. So I was raised to be very independent and to take care of myself. There are sighted girls, like a lot of the girls in Utah that Joe would tell me about, that are just little princess babies and they need help with everything and they can't function if anything goes wrong. And that's not me. I don't want to do that. So Joe and I always joked that we had to go out of state to find each other because Joe never clicked with the girls in Utah. He always thought they were just ridiculous and superficial. I never really clicked with the guys here because honestly, a lot of them are ridiculous and superficial. Like they're judgmental and shallow. And like I would do dating apps, for example. And you guys, I had help with my photos and like put up only the sexy ones. And I'd have these conversations with guys, and then the second it would get to me telling them about having a guide dog and that like, hey, give me a call when you're at the place where we're gonna meet for cocktails so that I know where you are, they would ghost me. Like it was done. A lot of my friends and family asked, well, what's it like dating a Mormon guy? Because Joe's Mormon. Well,
I am Mormon.
Yeah. So, that's a different religion than I'm Baptist. So, some similarities, but a lot of differences. And that is very much a factor that would affect like your thought processes and potentially how you raise kids and all that kind of stuff. And so how somebody looks, what their family's like, their religion, you know, where they want to live, how they want to raise kids, all that stuff is just, those are things everyone measures, whether you want to believe it or not, or admit it or not, that's the truth. Mm-hmm. So ultimately what I want to ask you though, and I think what people are most interested in is, for a sighted guy, what is the hardest part about dating or living with a blind partner?
The hardest part is probably communication of what I am saying to her. So for instance, you know, I'll cross the street, I'll say, hey, let's cross here. And in front of me, I can see like, hey, the sidewalk is closed up front. We have a dog. I don't want to walk in the road, you know, so let's cross left. She'll say, hey, why do you want to cross left? You know, and at first you're like, oh, because, you know, there's this construction up there, and then it starts to sound more and more and more the more she asks you, hey, why are we doing this? Like
I'm criticizing.
You don't believe me, you think it's a stupid route, why are you so dumb, and why aren't we just going straight? You know? Yeah. And it's like, in reality, what it is she's saying, I actually just want to know what's in front of us.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily wanting to call you dumb or anything, or tell you that you're wrong. I just want to know, you know, the reason, because I can't actually look ahead and see that the road is closed.
Yeah.
Right? For instance, another time, we were trying to find a building kind of in the small alley area, and Kirsten, we walked by it once or twice, and I was like, I just don't know where it is. I know it's here, I just can't see it. And she was like, what do you mean? You have working eyes. Just open them and like you can see things, right? And
oh my gosh, you guys, I hate when he can't see stuff. And I still work on it now. That incident happened like, what, a month ago?
Yeah.
And I mean, we've been living together for a while now, and if Joe doesn't see it, I like get so enraged. I'm like, what do you mean you don't see it?
Yeah, she does.
I get so mad. So I definitely, that's something that I learned. And if you're a blind person moving in with a sighted person, like, have some patience, because having eyes doesn't make you a scanning machine. Like, no. It doesn't. Nobody is infallible.
And then another quick example is she'll ask me to describe what a person looks like, or what a color looks like, or something like that, because, again, she can't see it. So,
because in my mind, if you have two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, then you're going to look like the next person that has two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. So I don't understand. Like, I still don't know what I look like. I understand characteristically how I've been described, and I understand, like, generally about my features.
Right, and for a sighted person, and try this if you don't think it's a hard thing to explain, go look at somebody and try to explain to them if they're pretty or ugly and why they are pretty or ugly.
Yeah, yep. And
so,
we've learned a lot. We've talked a lot about, like, facial symmetry, like trying to figure out the scientific way to explain to me, like.
And then there are those intangible things that you can't actually point out. You just say, that's not necessarily an attractive feature to me.
If you're watching this video at all and you're thinking about what it would be like to date someone with a disability, that means you like them enough to look it up. So,
yeah,
come on, like, just give it a chance. Just give it a shot. And we do all the same things that regular couples do. And we have fun, and we just, you know, have built a really great life together, and we want to continue to do that. So, and lastly, if you are someone with a disability watching this and you are in a relationship with someone who uses your disability as a crutch for their inactions,
and not just a romantic relationship, but
friendships too. Yep.
You know,
coworkers,
coworker, brother, sister, whomever.
Anyone who decides that your disability is going to be an excuse for something that they do or do not do, you need to excise them from your life. Like, done, cut. Yeah. Because, as I said, I was in a relationship that was super toxic in that way. I also had students in high school and college that would make me very uncomfortable, but I'd want to stay around them because I thought if I could just convince them that I'm really just this cool person that they'll want to spend time with me. But really, they already made the snap judgment and I didn't even have to open my mouth. So if that's going to be the way they act, then you don't need to have that type of attitude or approach in your life. And honestly, before I met Joe, I was completely happy to be alone forever. And didn't I tell you, legitimately, I said, this is a long distance thing that I am not going to do. So go date some girls.
Yeah, she did tell me to date some girls.
I was pretty savage.
And then I gotta say, she got mad when I did.
I did not get mad.
Okay. We won't go into that.
My only point was I really did not think this would turn into a relationship, and it happened by accident. And I would much rather have you guys have that situation than force yourself to experience any type of negative feelings based on your disability that you can't help. So
and I will also end this by saying, don't be a punk. If you like somebody, date them. Who cares? Whatever different thing that they have compared to what you're used to, what your friends and family say you should be doing, whatever, just date them, be friends with them, enjoy their company.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
We're not going to put any of this in there.
Yeah, we are. This is good shit.
Okay, so that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is clearly an organic video. If you guys like this content and have questions about any other thing that you want us to chat about and address, let us know in the comments. We have so much fun making these videos for you guys. Please don't forget to subscribe. It really helps our channel and helps us to push videos like this out to other viewers on YouTube who might really benefit from the content. So thanks again, guys. I hope you take time to smile for a second. And remember, your worth is only determined by you and no one else. See you in the next one.
Bye.